Today, we're cracking open a secret playbook that has completely redefined modern football. It's a data-driven strategy so powerful it lets the smallest teams take on the giants, a code that turns overlooked players into absolute superstars. And it all kicked off with a question that sounds completely impossible.
So just look at this question for a second. It doesn't make any sense, right? A team can't be the best and the worst. You're either winning or you're losing. Simple as that. But what if I told you that the league table, the one thing we all trust to tell us who's good and who's bad, can sometimes tell a massive lie? What if a team sitting at the very bottom of the table was secretly one of the best in the world, just having a string of really, really bad luck?
So, this wild claim came from a man named Matthew Benham. Now, back in February 2015, Borussia Dortmund, a team stacked with world-class talent, by the way, was dead last in the German league. The media, the fans, pretty much everyone saw a club in total crisis. But Benham, who made his fortune using statistical analysis and professional gambling, saw something totally different. His numbers showed that Dortmund's terrible results were just unbelievably bad luck. They weren't playing badly, they were playing fantastic football. And his data predicted a huge turnaround was about to happen. And you know what? He was spot on.
So, how did he know? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. First, we'll dig into that Dortmund Paradox. Then, we'll see how it helped unlock a new way of winning an unfair game. We are going to reveal the secret metric at the heart of it all, the expected goals secret. After that, we go beyond the numbers to uncover a hidden layer to this whole strategy. And finally, we'll see how all of this led to the new rules of football.
All right, first up, the Dortmund Paradox. This is where we start to unravel the big mystery of how raw data can paint a picture that is just completely different from the official results that everyone else is seeing.
At its heart, this whole thing was born from a problem that's as old as sports itself: money. How can a team with a tiny budget ever hope to compete with the financial giants who can just go out and buy any superstar they want? Well, it forces smaller clubs like Matthew Benham's own team, Brentford, to get creative. They can't outspend the competition, so they have to outthink them. And this challenge isn't new. It's the exact same problem that started this entire movement in a completely different sport.
The name for this whole philosophy actually comes from this book, Moneyball. It tells the story of Billy Beane, the manager of a totally broke baseball team, the Oakland Athletics. They had one of the smallest budgets in the league, but were somehow winning an insane number of games. Beane's secret wasn't magic, it was math. He totally ignored the old-school scouts and just used data to find undervalued players that everyone else had completely missed. And that right there is the core idea. Moneyball is about finding mistakes in the market. It's about ignoring how a player looks on the pitch, their flashy style or their speed, and focusing only on the numbers that actually lead to wins. You figure out which skills are being priced all wrong, you buy them for cheap, and suddenly you have a massive competitive advantage. So how do you apply that to a game as fluid and complicated as football?
This brings us to the real genius of the strategy: how these clubs find hidden gems by looking at the game in a way that almost nobody else does.
Okay, this slide explains everything. Let's imagine we have two strikers, Joe and Seb. On the surface, they look almost identical. Same number of games played, same number of shots taken. But Joe has scored 15 goals, while Seb has only scored 5. So, based on that, who are you going to sign? Every club in the world is chasing Joe, which makes him incredibly expensive. But now, let's look at this one little hidden metric: expected goals, or XG. It basically measures the quality of a scoring chance. And here's the twist. Joe's 15 goals came from low-quality chances, only worth about 10 XG. Meanwhile, poor Seb's 5 goals came from super high-quality chances worth 12 XG.
And this is the whole secret, right here. Seb is the Moneyball signing. The data tells us he's brilliant at getting into much better goal-scoring positions than Joe. He's just been unlucky, or maybe he's faced some goalkeepers having the game of their lives. Joe, on the other hand, has been ridiculously lucky, scoring tough goals from bad angles. A Moneyball team knows that luck always runs out. They bet that Seb, if he keeps getting into those great positions, will inevitably start scoring a ton of goals. And because his goal tally is so low right now, he's an absolute bargain. You're not buying what a player did in the past. You're buying their future potential at a massive discount.
And listen, this isn't just some abstract theory. This exact logic led to one of the most incredible transfer deals in modern football history, when a small club named Brentford used it to turn a tiny investment into an absolute fortune.
So, they identified 3 attacking players: Said Benrahma, Ollie Watkins, and Neil Mopai. Now, when Brentford found them, they were playing for other clubs and were seen as fine. Decent, but not spectacular. But they all shared one secret.
Their data showed they were consistently creating high-quality chances, but they were all scoring fewer goals than their XG predicted. The market saw them as average. Brentford saw them as undervalued assets that were about to explode.
And because the rest of the football world was just looking at their simple goal counts, they were seen as underperformers. This let Brentford swoop in and sign all three of them for a tiny combined fee of just $8 million. I mean, in a market where a single average player can cost 20 or 30 million, this was an unbelievably small investment.
So they brought them into their system. They surrounded them with coaches who helped fine-tune their finishing, they gave them confidence, and most importantly, they just let them keep doing what the data already said they were great at, getting into fantastic scoring positions. And just like the model predicted, the luck turned. The goals started flying in. They went from being undervalued prospects to some of the most sought-after attackers in the entire country.
And this right here is the payoff. Brentford sold that same trio for a collective $100 million. That is a profit of $92 million from just 3 players. It is one of the clearest, most brilliant examples of the Moneyball strategy in action. But what if I told you that's not even the full story? Expected goals, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, so this is where we get into the advanced level. The real secret to success here isn't just one statistic. It's about layering other kinds of data on top of it, stuff that other clubs are only just now starting to think about.
You see, the truly elite data-driven clubs have 2 deeper secrets. First, they create what they call a global league table. Using data, they rank every single team in the world as if they all played in one giant league. This lets them spot amazing teams in unfashionable leagues and sign their star players before anyone else even knows who they are. But the second secret is even more fascinating. They collect human data because they recognize that a player is way more than just a set of statistics.
And this is how they do it. It's honestly incredible. They'll compile up to 25 different scouting reports on a single transfer target. They'll even scroll through fan forums online to read rumors about a player's attitude. For players from other countries, they do a deep dive to see if they'll be able to handle a new culture. They're looking for a very specific personality, which the club sums up with a simple motto: find good people who do good things.
And this is exactly why it matters so much. As one of their players put it, that team culture is essential to their success. When you sign good people who all believe in the same project, you create this powerful team spirit that really shows up on the pitch, especially when things get tough. You can have all the data in the world, but if the chemistry isn't right, the whole system just falls apart. This combination of hard numbers and human data, that's the real secret sauce.
So here we are at the final payoff. This strategy, which was once a secret weapon for the little guys, has now been adopted by the biggest clubs on the planet. It's not a secret anymore, it's just the new normal for how you win at the highest level.
Just look at how a giant club like Liverpool uses these same principles to build a championship-winning team. Their data team figured out that their striker, Roberto Firmino, was an elite chance creator. His passes had an incredibly high XG value. So they didn't just look for a good winger, they used their system to find the perfect player to get on the end of the specific chances Firmino was creating. And the data pointed overwhelmingly to one man, Mohamed Salah. They signed him, and in his very first season, he scored a record-breaking 32 goals. That wasn't a lucky signing, it was a data-driven masterpiece of team building.
And so, the revolution is complete. The idea that started with a broke baseball team has become the fundamental science of winning an unfair game. It's no longer just an underdog tactic. It's the blueprint used by everyone from Premier League champions to World Cup winners, like Germany in 2014, who used massive amounts of data to guide their entire strategy. The secret is officially out.
Which, of course, leads us to the final and most important question. When everybody is using the same playbook, it stops being an advantage. So, if every team is now a Moneyball team, where does the next great inefficiency lie? What is the next hidden edge that's going to define the future of football?
I would really love to know what you think the next Moneyball advantage is. Drop your answer in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more explainers that uncover the hidden codes behind the world. Thanks for watching.